Greetings. It is I, Susie Q, here for another conversation. What's showing up in your field? What's lighting you up, turning you on, and illuminating, oh, the goodness in your field? Or you could say, illuminating the juiciness, right, of your beautiful divinity, right? So today I did another video a little bit earlier, so I'm kind of inspired to do a second one. And this one is about the ask. So it's called the ask, but I also call it ASK, but it's authentic spiritual knowledge. So here is a scenario that may be groovy or creepy. I don't even know. But sometimes when in the middle of the night, sometimes when we look at some of our tendencies or some of our notions that we're going to wake up at 2 or 3 or 4. And I remember back years ago, I was always at 333, 3:30, 3:33 a.m. And it was like, here I am, I'm awake. Now what? Even with my yoga studies, we were looking at Ayurvedic, templates on what would be a powerful time for us to activate something or to meditate or to, just be self-aware. So, but anyway, so what's happening, I think, for a lot of people, and I've kind of gotten a few conversations about this, people waking up in the middle of the night and they're just like, I'm awake. Uh-oh. Now what do I do? So this is some of the things that I have been able to help people with, or just maybe suggest to them. I don't know if they're getting results or not, but it's like, I think it's really fun when we can start noticing what we're noticing and then we can share it with somebody else and see how it's going to work out for them. So I have had that before for a while with, kind of waking up in the middle of the night. I wasn't stressed or anything. It just was completely like, I'm awake. So when we look at the ask, let's say it's in the middle of the night and, you are going to work with what's called the ASK energy. And what that means is it's authentic spiritual knowledge. So sometimes if you kind of have a tendency, it's the same time, about the same time, is that you may be getting guidance from your angels or from your spirit guides or from God itself or source. So, I mean, it's really kind of a powerful, powerful time. And so when we look at the ask, the authentic spiritual knowledge, I've got my notes here. Authentic spiritual knowledge is that there may be some guidance coming in that's going to help you. And a lot of it has to be, kind of interesting and fun as the energies come through. So, for example, you might wake up in the middle of the night and you're like looking at the clock going, oops, here I am again. So the ask is where we're going to begin with right now with the conversation. The ask is you might start looking at asking a question. And so a lot of times when you're in the middle of the night, you're not going to remember the question maybe because you're going to go back to sleep, or you may not listen to the answer or remember the answer if it's coming through. So this is my power hour. Actually, when I wake up in the middle of the night or right before I go to bed, I start asking all kinds of questions like, you're asking like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? What else can I do different? What should I do with my food plan? What do I do with my wellness of my body? And so I go into all these questions. And so a lot of times when we do the ask, that we don't have to like wait for an answer, right? Sometimes it'll be an immediate answer. It comes through thought. Could come through, with goosebumps or something, but you may be getting answers immediately, but don't judge it if it's not coming in because it'll eventually be showing up for you. So when we do the ask, the authentic spiritual knowledge is that we have opportunities just to ask questions. And so a lot of times, like I mentioned before I go to bed, I just kind of lay there and I just like asking questions like, what should I do tomorrow? What would be the best way for me to approach some of the sessions that I work with? What can I do to have better sessions or ask better questions? I'm always like trying to figure out like what are the best questions for a QHHT session. But then for the most part, I think for a lot of us with the ask, and when it's that really quiet time of the day or night, right? Is that we have opportunities to really start talking to God or source and just start asking, putting out this energy to like, what's next for me, right? What do I need to do different? Sometimes even when I'm doing the ask, the authentic spiritual knowledge, I'm maybe taking a walk. I notice something in my body and I just ask, Sometimes I call it the SC, the subconscious, but sometimes I'll just go in my mind, my thinking mind, I'll be like, subconscious, can you please clear something on that right foot, that right heel when I was walking? And then it's gone. So, but it's really kind of interesting when you start noticing about the ask, start asking. And even years ago, I don't know, maybe 2013. I don't even know. But anyway, I was really in a place where I was like not getting answers. I was not really getting the guidance that I needed. And I didn't really know what else to do. So I decided just to go out at that night sky. And my ask was just really, um, was really just two words, and it really was, I surrender. I surrender. People, I surrender. And so what happened with that, so I looked at the night sky, and it was kind of the middle of the night. I went outside. I thought, well, I'm just going to go out there and commune with the stars and everything else that's out there. And then later, I realized, maybe a few days later, that I felt like everything was kind of releasing from my consciousness, anything that was a burden or any kind of sense of, I don't know, just not feeling right. I was kind of releasing some of the energy or some of that low vibration or things that were out of alignment. They just started kind of like slowly, it wasn't immediate, but it was slowly seeping out of my consciousness. So, the ask is a really powerful way of accessing guidance from the higher realms, right? And so it's really, really fun. So, a lot of times, like in the really the middle of the night where I totally don't remember the questions or the answers, at that very moment when I'm consciously awake, right? But not able to remember, is I start I give a question and then I get an answer. I get a question and then I get an answer. So if you're a person that needs to take notes, you could have a notepad next to you in your bedroom or on on I don't know, just have something that's close by that you can write some notes. For me, I feel like once I get the information, once I do the ask, and sometimes I get those answers immediately, I just move to the next question. I don't focus on one particular, answer that was gonna like, it's gonna rock my world, baby, rock my world. It's not about that, because we're constantly getting a barrage of information from the higher realm, source, God, or whatever it is that that you call it for yourself, right? Is that we're always getting guidance. And a lot of people don't really recognize what guidance might be, but this is part of this development of consciousness, is that we start really connecting with our beautiful divinity and the powerful source that brought our beautiful light being energy here, so then we can access that. So when we really look at talking to source, talking to God, to the angels, to your ancestors, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It could be your favorite color blue is coming in, or your favorite little bubbles and sparkly fun things. Find it in a way for your own juicy self. Find the right approach for you to start getting connections with the higher realms, with source, with God. God, just think about it. We come all from the same place, right? All of us are coming from the same place. We may look different, we may talk funny, or whatever, one some big, some small, but it's like we're all from that same source, that beautiful source energy. So when you start really accessing and really discerning, when you're putting these ask out this question, you begin to get that authentic spiritual knowledge. And when you do that, it's not a big deal, because get this, I'm a guessing. Yes, I'm a guessing. I'm a guessing we're getting the authentic spiritual knowledge all the time, but we're not recognizing it, right? So I would like for you, I just challenge you. I'm going to challenge my own self. Susie, I want you to pay attention. Pay attention. I do pay attention, but sometimes sometimes I feel like I'm not even getting anything. I'm not getting any insights. I'm not getting anything. But yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're always getting guidance. You're always given guidance, and you're always getting support and love and comfort. It's always there. It's always there all the time, no matter what is going on in your field, that you're just feeling like, oh, everything's so cray cray. Everything's cray cray. I don't have an ask, I don't believe her and she's so silly. But then you start really looking at it, that sense of kind of that presence of self is really about the breath, you know? So if you could just take a few moments, especially if you're in a situation where you're like, you need answers, you're really open to guidance, but you're just so like freaked out, you know? Maybe you're just totally freaking out. Then you return to your breath, breathing in and then breathing out. Whew, feels good. Breathing in and then breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and then breathing out. One more, breathing in and breathing out. So if you can have just a little bit of time, and it's always present as long as we're breathing, you know, the inhalation is really where it's at. That's where all the cool kids are at with the inhalation means we still have a body, we can still be feeling groovy, right? But then once you really kind of notice that I'm not getting guidance, I don't know what Susie's talking about, I'm not noticing anything, you come into your breath work, you can say it in your mind, your thinking thoughts would be breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And when you do that, you could even close your eyes, you know, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, and do that as much as you can to let all the other external factors, the other kind of things that are in the shiny things that are around us, is we want to become more of an inward journey, bringing all of that beautiful state of awareness and presence so that when we ask, then we'll be able to have discernment and gain some cool insights from the big people up there, the big kahuna. So we really want to, if you can, if you're doing the ask or you're doing your prayers or doing your blessings and you're not getting answers, go a little bit more with your in breath. Okay, your in breath and then your out breath. Another way for people that are not really connected to really anything. So people are like, I don't know that there's anything out there. Sometimes I'm wondering that too. Like, is there anything out there? Anyway, um, but you can also take a walk in nature, you know, be out in nature, be around animals, and then experience that. And then if you can, leave some of your stories behind you. If you're going to take a walk in nature, observe the birds, observe the trees, observe the grass, observe the little critters that are around you. Just observe, 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 and then that might also kind of ease that energy around things that you're just thinking too much about. But when you get really present with either the breath work or being in nature, I believe that you'll start finding some guidance. And if you can, if you can, notice what you're noticing. And even if you're not hearing anything or experiencing anything visually, just notice what you're noticing and noticing the blue sky, right? Maybe that's some guidance, right? From source. Look at the blue sky. Look how amazing that is. Look at that tree over there. Look how the new leaves are coming in. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, look in the water. You see those little ducks? How many are they? Let's count them, you know? You kind of start going into that. So nature is a really great way for you to be able to connect with source, with God, with your angelics, to just kind of connect and just ask. Authentic spiritual knowledge is where it's at, right? Because we always want to continue to grow and expand and be super juicy in all areas of your life. It's super fun. So these are some of my practices I do at night before I go to sleep. And it's super quick, super succinct. I never take notes. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I got the best stuff. And I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, it was the best stuff, but I don't even know what it was. But I just know something shifted for me. Something expanded my consciousness. Something grew something really powerful and really beautiful in my field. I already feel it, but I don't even know what it is. I forgot, right? But give yourself time to experiment with that and play with that and access your most beautifulness. So I guess that's it for now. So have a great day and do that ask and listen and notice what's showing up. Okay, have a great day and namaste.